Hi everyone, welcome to Dave's Bonsai. On today's show, bonsai for the soul.
Welcome to Bonsai Acres.
In the wintertime, this by far is my favorite place to be. It's 74 degrees on the average day. I've got all kinds of extra lights all around, and it's kind of like spring all the time. Things starting to put on some new growth, slow but sure. There were a couple of recent posts after a couple of my videos that used the word addiction, and I've talked about addiction before with other people, kind of in jest, kind of goofing around. Usually addiction is related to something that causes us harm in some way. We're not able to get to work, we're not able to focus, we're not able to sustain our relationships, we're not able to keep our finances. You know, you're addicted to gambling, addicted to alcohol. Bonsai? But you know, when you get the bug, there's something about it that's just, it's even hard to explain. Those of us that get this bug, we just go head first in the shallow end, and hopefully we come up breathing. Bonsai can be expensive, but it doesn't have to be expensive. And I think what I would recommend most people do is to have a half a dozen to a dozen trees. Now there's a lot of counter arguments to that. If you just bring in a bunch of stuff in and it's mediocre bonsai. But as you start and in the first few years of bonsai, yeah, grab a half a dozen to 10 trees. I often joke in bonsai workshops, don't love your tree to death. You know, let it go for a while, let it breathe, let it grow, let the roots take root, let the foliage soak up the sun, let those solar panels do their job. You can make small cuts, you can nip and tuck a little bit. But having more than one tree, some indoor and outdoor trees, lends us to be able to put a little bit of our hands onto trees during the winter months. Because as we really get excited for spring in just a few weeks, we're just itching to work on trees. And you can, I think you can, if you have the right trees. There's a couple of little things I'm doing in my plant room today to just get rid of that, you know, kind of cabin fever, that bonsai fever. And that's working on some trees that I know I can just do a little bit of cleanup. So it's one less thing that I might have to do in the spring when repotting season hits full force. My Portulacaria afras. I mentioned on a recent video, I have dozens of PAs. My red potted PAs was tucked away in a corner and it's putting on a lot of growth, reaching up to those artificial lights. And what do I do with that tree? I don't have to do a ton. And we always talk about getting thick trunks, so just letting trees grow. But I can maybe help the balance of the trees in there. Maybe I can help with a branch that's going to grow up so it's not just this tall stick. And so we can cut a few of the extra leaves off. We might be able to cut off the top branch to promote a little bit more of those bottom branches to start to subdivide. Just a little nip here, a little tuck there. And the red potted PAs can then go back on the shelf to finish out the winter plant room months. And then in the summertime, it's going to go crazy. Now you want to see a really good experiment with PAs. Check out Gilbert Cantu. He's got a comparison of PAs in a bigger pot and a smaller pot, and to just see the difference. This is a snapshot from his YouTube channel. Go check it out, the link below. You really don't want to rush trees, and we don't want to keep them in too small of pots. I often say bonsai is a journey, and I love the journey that I've been on. And so I just keep experimenting and taking different turns in the journey. I've got this one small pot. You know, I'm not going to make this trunk faster anytime soon in this small pot. But this is a jade in a really tiny pot that a friend of mine made. And look at how lovely it is. It's just this cute little tree. Could I cut off a couple leaves right now? I sure could. Could I defoliate the whole thing? I sure could. Every time I come down in the plant room, every time I get to put my hands on trees, really it's therapy for me. So I don't call it an addiction so much, although we joke about it often. It's therapy. It's blocking the world away and doing something that you really enjoy. And if you find that niche in bonsai, or whatever it is you do, go for it. Do it. Because it's just going to bring you so much joy. Now, like everything else in life, you have to balance it with the rest of the things in your life, but carve out time. We don't carve out time to do the things we love to do. Last week I went on a Shinrin Yoku. I might go this afternoon because the same trail is going to look completely different because now we just got another 1 to 3 inches of snow. What a difference a week can make. And if you can't go on that walk and it's too cold in your neck of the woods, or it's just a miserable weather weekend wherever you are, or day, go down and just look at your bonsai. There's plenty of trees we could just weed, even in the plant room. I got some weeds growing on my triangularis variegated ficus tree. Darn weeds. Some of my narrow-leaf ficus trees. Super big growth at the top, right, the apex. And I can clean it out a little bit. I can clean out just a branch or two, a thin little branch or two, so I can decide where I want the branches to grow because there's a lot in there. Small nip and tucks. All being able to work on bonsai in the middle of winter. We can't get that vitamin D every day. We can't get the warmth every day. But I tell you what, you put your hands in the dirt, or in this case, bonsai soil, put that clippers in your hand. You know, I don't think there's anything better than that on most days. But until I'm retired, until I can do this every day, until I can slip into my bonsai zone like Nigel Saunders, where he can do this every day, I'm going to take it as it comes, but I'm still going to put it on the calendar so I can get that peace, that calm, relaxation, stress reliever, therapy. It puts everything else on the back burner for a short time. Give that to yourself. Make it happen. And when you have more trees, some die, it's not quite as bad. You're experimenting, you're trying, and you hopefully learn from that. I appreciate all those that watch my channel. I'll tell you now, turn it off, put down the technology, and go look at a tree if you haven't yet today. I bet you it'll make you feel a ton better. Take care of you. Take care of your bonsai. And you know, we're going to see you on the next one.
Welcome to Bonsai Acres.